Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 1950s, a time when America believed the future would be all tail fins, tuxedos, and toast coming out of flying toasters. This was the decade when car companies got so caught up in daydreaming they started building cars not to sell but just to show off. And nobody flexed harder than Chrysler with the 1954 Dodge Firearrow 2, a car so dramatic it made every other Motorama diva look like she showed up in curlers and slippers. Before we unzip the yellow coat of this jet-age heartbreaker, let's give a round of applause to the real power behind this channel, our sponsors. That's right, our glorious YouTube channel members who donate monthly, so I don't have to sell plasma or start crowdfunding for Timmy's latest hover shovel invention. Thanks to you, I get to keep doing what I love, talking about rare concept cars while Bob Dobneighbor whispers to the NSA that I'm hiding alien engines in my garage. I'm not, probably. So buckle in as we rewind to the dawn of 1954, where the skies were blue, the chrome was shinier than a dentist's forehead, and Chrysler Corporation decided to step into the spotlight. Let's set the stage. The Dodge Firearrow 2 was born in 1954, the love child of Chrysler Corporation and Italy's master coach builder Dual-Ghia. Unlike the very first Firearrow, which looked great but didn't have a heartbeat, the Firearrow 2 was the first in the series that could actually run and drive. It was a fully operational two-seat concept roadster meant to do two things: steal the show from GM's Motorama parade and test the waters for a posh new Dodge sports car. And oh boy, it did both. Now here's where it gets juicy. Design authorship. Virgil Exner, Chrysler's chief stylist and lover of horizontal lines, was the guy who championed the Firearrow project. But the pencil pushing? Well, that credit floats between Exner and Ghia's team, especially Giovanni Savanuzzi. It was like a transatlantic jam session. Exner set the rhythm, and Ghia laid down the melody in hand-formed steel. The result? A car that was so smooth it made politicians look like they were telling the truth. The Firearrow 2 premiered in January 1954 at Chrysler's Harmony on Wheels show in New York, followed by a glamorous cameo in April at the Easter Parade of Stars. Chrysler didn't just want to compete with GM's Motorama, they wanted to upstage it. And instead of hiring dancing elephants or launching glitter cannons, they rolled out this pale yellow missile with tail fins and a Hemi. Now, what about that Hemi? Oh, she was the real deal. Under the mile-long hood sat a 241 cubic inch Red Ram V8 Hemi pumping out 150 horsepower, more than enough to make Timmy spill his martini. That power plant was hooked up to a gyro-torque 4-speed semi-automatic transmission. Fancy name, fancy function, it combined a torque converter with clever shift logic. As for layout, it was rear-wheel drive riding on a 9 feet 11 inches wheelbase Dodge chassis. That's about 3,023 millimeters. The suspension setup was classic mid-century Mopar. Independent coil springs in the front, a live axle with leaf springs out back, and drum brakes all around. In other words, it floated like Sinatra and stopped like your grandma's shopping cart, eventually. And those wheels? Chromed wire spokes that looked ready to tango. The body sat low, with a frameless wraparound windshield that screamed jet age. Out back, 4 chrome exhaust tips exited dramatically through the fenders, not for show this time, but for the fire-breathing Hemi within. Oh, and yes, the Firearrow 2 had no exterior door handles, because when you're that pretty, you don't need to open doors, you just have them opened for you. Now, official speed numbers? Chrysler never bothered. They didn't care if it outran a Corvette. The goal was presence, not performance. The Firearrow 2 wasn't about the stopwatch, it was about heart rates, and by that measure, it won every time. This one-off beauty, chassis number 9999709 for you VIN nerds, has only ever existed in a single copy. No duplicates, no clones, just one yellow dream gliding through history. It's been restored faithfully in its original pale yellow paint over a slick black 2-seat interior. The Nardi wood-rim steering wheel still glows like a whiskey barrel in moonlight, and the Ghia badges sparkle like the Italian tailor's signature on a bespoke suit. Timmy once tried to build a tribute version using a Dodge Dart, a Vespa seat, and leftover gelato tins. It didn't go well. The only thing Italian about it was the regret. Meanwhile, the real Firearrow 2 still draws crowds wherever it appears, which is more than we can say for Bob's PowerPoint presentation on lizard people running the DMV. The Dodge Firearrow 2 was a shape carved from dreams, not spreadsheets. Unlike the Baroque chrome bombs of the early 1950s, its lines were horizontal, confident, and shockingly clean. Gone were the decorative gingerbreads and jelly rolls that Exner loved to mock. This car was all flow and minimalism, like Sinatra doing Tai Chi in a tuxedo. The frameless panoramic windshield was so futuristic it probably gave Biff from the future some body envy. And those quad exhausts weren't just for show, they were fully operational, part of the drivetrain's stage performance. Everything about Firearrow 2 whispered, "I'm not here to win Le Mans. I'm here to make you fall in love." And fall they did. Crowds at Harmony on Wheels and the Easter Parade of Stars didn't just gawk. They swooned. The Firearrow 2 wasn't a product, it was a promise. A concept car in the truest sense, not just a car, but a concept of what Chrysler could be if it let its hair down and had one too many cappuccinos in Turin. But here's the thing. In 1954, sports cars were heating up like Bob's forehead when someone says the word crypto. Chevrolet had its Corvette, Ford was working on the Thunderbird, and even Kaiser had the Darrin. Chrysler needed a halo car, and the Firearrow 2 was their flirtation. But that's all it remained, a flirtation. Chrysler, ever cautious, ultimately backed away from building it. Still, the DNA lived on. The 1956-1958 Dual-Ghia Roadsters were direct descendants of this Ghia affair. Same spirit, same silhouette, fewer chrome acrobatics. So let's talk brass tacks, auction prices. You didn't think we'd forget the juicy numbers, did you? This one-of-a-kind stunner never had a sticker price, no MSRP, no dealership window tag. It wasn't for sale, it was for spectacle. But decades later, the market spoke loud and clear. At Barrett Jackson's Scottsdale auction in January 2007, Firearrow 2 sold for a cool $1,100,000. Yes, that's 6 zeros, and no, Timmy wasn't the buyer. His credit card maxed out at the casino gift shop. In 2021, the car hit the block again, this time at RM Sotheby's in Monterey. The gavel dropped at $1,050,000. Same chassis, same elegance, same ability to make grown men weep softly into their catalogs. So here's to the yellow missile that made Motorama blink. Here's to a Hemi-powered Daydream that whispered in steel and roared in V8. And here's to every designer who ever said, "What if?" and made it happen anyway. Before you go chase your own jet-age fantasy, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give a thumbs up if you believe cars should come with wire wheels and no door handles. May your tail fins be tall, your engines hemied, and your neighbors slightly suspicious of your garage.